Hello, and welcome to an evening of Poetry Out Loud. My name is Morgan Solinar.
And I'm Clara Batchelder, and we'll be your hosts tonight.
We'd like to thank you all for coming tonight, and you will listen to students recite original and learned poetry, as well as performances by the Innocent Bystanders Brass Band. Let's give them one more round of applause before we start.
Poetry Out Loud, if you don't already know, is a project supported by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation that encourages the nation's youth to learn about great poetry through memorization and recitation. This program helps students master public speaking skills, build self-confidence, and learn about their literary heritage. Many of our speakers tonight are participating in the official Poetry Out Loud competition. The top 3 contestants tonight will move on to the regional event, which will be held right here in the Hellgate High School auditorium on February 9th. And from that regional competition, the top 2 will advance to the state meet. And the winner of the state competition will be given an all-expenses-paid trip to Washington, D.C., where they will compete in the Poetry Out Loud National Finals for a chance to win, for first place, a $20,000 scholarship. I think second place wins a $10,000, and then there's quite a breakdown, and there's quite a lot of awesome opportunities that our contestants have tonight.
We'd like to thank the contestants for their hard work, the judges and participating teachers for their time, and once again, the Innocent Bystanders Brass Band for performing for us tonight. And again, thank you all for coming out. We could not do this without your support.
And so now, with no further ado, we're going to hear an invocation from the Muse performed by Hellgate High School Latin teacher Debbie Hendricks.
Okay, so this is the Aeneid, which is an epic poem similar to the Odyssey and the Iliad, and it's a combination of both. So this is the first 11 lines, which is a summary of the entire work. Arma virumque cano Troiae qui primus aboris, Italiam fato profugus lavinia quavenit. Litora multil let terris iactatus et alto, vi superum saevae memorem unonis abiram. Multa quoquet bello passus dum conderet urbem, inferet quedeos latio genus unda latinum, albani que patres at qualtae moenia Romae, in musa mihi causas memora quo numen aliso, quid vedolenes regina deum tat volvere casus, in signem pietata verum tatadira labores, impulerit tantae enemis caelestibus irae.
So we'll kick off the night with some recitations of original poetry that aren't going to be advancing necessarily onto the regional meet. And so first off, we have Spencer Chafee Haley.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Spencer Chafee Haley, and I will be reciting an original poem entitled, "Maybe the Elevator Was the Best Route." On the stairway down to hell, we meticulously count our coffin nails, stuck between our teeth like regretful lies told to a gently thrumming heart, or a hard truth, the magnitude of which could level walls that crumble like ground zero for your mother's mental breakdown. Can rubble yet be recycled? Sand, heated by anger, to temper, to edge, like a glass bottle poised to rupture. 6 parts livid, 4 parts danger, a Molotov drawn back to throw. In this life, there are incendiary ideas such as these, singing against every good intention. But I beg of you, they are not worth your time. So reach beyond and grasp a hold of the light. Pull yourself to a new dawn and rise with the wind's calm susurra. But do not be sated with skipping across mountaintops when a cosmic blanket of space-time, dotted with distant glimmering candles, lies just within your grasp, sentinel keepers of star matter, smelting atomic diversity and glowing brightly in silence, yearning to outshine the self-actualized soul. Thank you.
Great. So next up, we have Meredith Walker.
All right. My name is Meredith Walker, and tonight I would like to share with you a poem I wrote myself. It has no title. So you take a girl, and you put her in a cube, and this is what happens when you work it all in, throw it all out. With the bars firm in place and looking so transparent. So take the shackled refuse and shackle them anew to a machine, the eternal push that drives your never-beating heart. Blood flow stems and drips, at most, like plucked roses, fallen now without their thorns for handholds. You want to take this world and make it half pink, half blue, half octagonal, all construed. Then construct an environment to fit your need for ceaseless want. So do it. Take it all. Stem the mosaic before it flows. Drain the push. Organic fluid sparks caught up in balls of oil or gasoline. Drain it all. Prick your own wrist and insert purged blood. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Before we have our next contestant, we're going to tell you a little joke because it's fun time for jokes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Clara, do you have a joke for us?
We have a bunch of poetry jokes tonight. Many of them are very bad, but some of them are so bad that they're acceptable. So here we go. What does the poet say, Morgan, when he is first introduced to you?
Oh my, Clara, I just have no idea. I don't know.
Hey, have we metaphor?
Clever, clever. All right, up next we have Chase Koenig.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? My name is Chase Koenig, and I'm going to be reciting a newer piece. It means a lot to me, and I hope you enjoy it. It's called Miscolored Moonbeams. These miscolored moonbeams spread out on the sand. They outpour in ivory. They reach up to my hand. Surrounded by night's locks, the light cascades in, with a push through the black folds. It says, "Let's begin." And the sand the light touches is cold with the night. Still, the moonbeams they flash. They're full, and they're right. And the hearts of the faint follow hearts of the strong, but they beat in a cadence to the wrong song. The light tells its stories, all too sick to bear. It tells me of wounds too deep to repair. So my eyes start to water. My clothes, they're just sheets. My words are just money. My drum is always beat. Still the moonbeams glide gently all along the shore, and the glow reaches my eyes, and it tells me of war. Now the dark of my body falls off like weight, but the drums and the ivory, they sit and they wait. And the moonbeams remind me, though they come from the night, regardless of circumstance, they are still light. Thank you.
Right. Next up, we have Azrad Irwin.
Okay. My name is Azrad Irwin, and I'm going to be performing Look Up by Gary Turk. And, well, this poem was originally presented as a video on the internet, and it went viral really fast. And ironically, it talks about disconnecting from technology and, yeah, and getting connected with the real world. So I thought it'd be interesting to perform this poem. I have 422 friends, and yet I'm lonely. I speak to all of them every day, and yet none of them really know me. The problem I have lies in the space in between, whether looking into their eyes or at a name on a screen. I took a step back and opened my eyes. I looked around and realized this media we call social is anything but. For when we open our computers, it's our doors we shut. All this technology, it's just an illusion. Community, companionship, a sense of inclusion. For when you step away from this device of delusion, you're awakened to see a world of confusion. A world where we're slaves to the technology we mastered, where information gets sold by some rich, greedy bastard. A world of self-interest, self-image, self-promotion, where we all share our best bits, but leave out the emotion. We're at our most happy with an experience we share, but is it the same if no one is there? Be there for your friends, and they'll be there too, but no one will be if a group message will do. We edit and exaggerate, crave adulation. We pretend not to notice the social isolation. We put our words into order until our lives are glistening. We don't even know if anyone is listening. Being alone isn't the problem. Let me just emphasize. If you read a book, paint a picture, or do some exercise, you're being productive and present, not reserved and recluse. You're being awake and attentive and putting your time to good use. So when you're out in public and you start to feel alone, put your hands behind your head, step away from the phone. You don't need to stare at your menu or your contacts list. Just talk with one another. Learn to coexist. I can't stand to hear the silence of a busy commuter train where no one wants to talk for the fear of looking insane. We're becoming unsocial and no longer satisfies to engage with one another, to look into someone's eyes. We're surrounded by children who, since they were born, have watched us living like robots and think it's the norm. It's not very likely you'll make world's greatest dad if you can't entertain a child without using an iPad. When I was a child, I'd never be home. I'd be with my friends, and on our bikes we'd roam. I'd wear holes in my trainers and graze up my knees, or we'd build our own clubhouses high up in the trees. But now the parks are so quiet, it gives me a chill. See no children outside and the swings hanging still. No skipping, no hopscotch, no church and no steeple. We're a generation of idiots, smartphones and dumb people. So look up from your phones, shut down those displays, take in your surroundings, make the most of today. Just one real connection is all it can take to show you the difference that being there can make. Be there in the moment as she gives you the look that you remember forever as when love overtook. The time she first held your hand or first kissed your lips, or the time you first disagreed but still loved her to bits. The time you didn't have to tell the whole world about what you've just done because you want to share this moment with just this one. The time you sell your computer so you can buy a ring for the girl of your dreams who is now the real thing. The time you want to start a family, and the moment when you get to hold your little girl and get to fall in love again. The time she keeps you up at night when all you want is rest, and the time you wipe away the tears when your baby flees the nest. The time your baby girl returns with a boy for you to hold, and the time he calls you granddad and makes you feel real old. The time you take in all you've made when you're giving life attention, and how you're real glad you didn't waste it by looking down at some invention. The time you hold your wife's hand, sit down beside her bed, you tell her that you love her, and lay a kiss upon her head. She then whispers to you quietly as her heart gives a final beat that she's lucky she got stopped by that lost boy in the street. I'm not done yet, sorry. But none of these times ever happened. You never had any of this. Because you're too busy looking down, you don't see the chances you miss. So look up from your phones, shut down those displays. We have a finite existence, a set number of days. Don't waste your life getting caught in the net, because when the end comes, nothing's worse than regret. I am guilty too of being part of this machine, this digital world where we are heard but not seen, where we type as we talk and read as we chat, where we spend hours together without making eye contact. So look up, oh no. So don't give into a life where you follow the hype. Give people your love, don't give them your like. Disconnect from the need to be heard and defined. Go out into the world. Leave distractions behind. Look up from your phones, shut down those displays. Stop watching this video. Live life the real way. Thank you.
All right. So once again, we have another poetry joke. How exciting. All right, Clara. Why did the traffic cop give the poet a ticket? Why? For driving without a poetic license. I'm not sure if I really get that, but you know, whatever.
Whatever. Okay, so next up we have Ingrid Bialuco.
Okay. Hi. I'm Ingrid Bialuco, and I'm going to be reciting Dear Straight People, We Have to Talk by Denise Frauman. Dear straight people, who do you think you are? Do you have to make it so obvious that I make you uncomfortable? Why do I make you uncomfortable? Don't you know that makes me uncomfortable? Now we're both uncomfortable. Dear straight people, you're the reason we stay in the closet. No, you're the reason we even have a closet. I don't like closets, but you made the living room an unshared space, and now I'm feeling like a guest in my own house. Dear hip-hop, why are you so fascinated with discovering gay rappers? Gay people rap, just like gay people ride bikes and eat tofu. Dear straight people, I don't think God has a sexual orientation, but if she were straight, she would be a dope ally. Why else would she invent rainbows? Dear straight women, straight women, leave me the hell alone. Dear straight men, if I'm flirting with you, it's because I think it's funny. Just laugh. Dear straight people, I'm tired of proving my love is authentic, so I'm calling for reparations on your ass. When did you find out you were straight? Who taught you? Did it happen because your parents are divorced? Did it happen because your parents are not divorced? Did it happen because you sniffed too much glue in 5th grade? Dear straight people, why do I have to prove my love is authentic? Why do I have to prove my love is authentic? Why do I have to prove my love is authentic? Why do you have to stare at me when I'm holding my girlfriend's hand like I'm about to rob you? Dear straight people, you make me want to rob you. Dear straight allies, thank you. More, please. Dear straight bullies, you're right. We don't have the same values. You kill everything that's different. I preserve it. Tell me, what happened to Jorge Mercado, Sakia Gunn, Lawrence King? What happened to the souls alienated in between too many high school walls, who plan the angles of their death in math class, who imagine their funerals as ticker tape parades, who thought the afterlife was more like an after party? Did you notice that hate is alive and well in too many lunchrooms, taught in the silence of too many teachers, passed down like secondhand clothing from too many parents? Dear queer young girl, I see you. You don't want them to see you, so you change the pronouns in your love poems to him instead of her. I used to do that. Dear straight people, you make young poets make bad edits. Dear straight people, kissing my girlfriend in public without looking to see who's around is a luxury I do not fully have yet. But tonight I am drunk on my freedom, grab her hand on the busiest street corner in Philadelphia, zip my fingers into hers and press our lips firmly until we melt their stares into a standing ovation. Imagine that we are in a sea of smiling faces even when we're not. Because when we start shoveling, digging deep into each other's eyes. We say, hey, baby, can't nothing stop this tonight? Because tonight this world is broken and we are the only thing that's going to keep it together. Thank you.
Ryan Handley is up next.
Hi, I'm Ryan Hanley, and I'm going to be reciting The Life of a Cupcake by Shelby Gurr. They put me in the oven to bake, me, a deprived and miserable cake. Feeling the heat, I start to bubble. Watching the others, I knew I was in trouble. They opened the door I started my life, frosting me with a silver knife. They decorated me with candy jewels. The rest of my batch looked like fools. Lifting me up, she took off my wrapper. Feeling the breeze, I wanted to slap her. Opening her mouth with shiny teeth inside, this was the day this cupcake died. Thank you.
All right, well, now we are done with our original poetry recitations, and we will begin with the competition for the official Poetry Out Loud dealio. And so first up, we have Shelby Kinch.
Hope is the thing with feathers. Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me.
Clara, why didn't the angry farmer divorce his wife when she traded their prize milking cow for a book of poetry?
Well, I don't know, Morgan. Why didn't he?
Well, because he vowed to love her for butter or verse. Thank you.
So next up, we have William Janchevsky. All right.
The Snowstorm by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Announced by all the trumpets of the sky, alive the snow, and driving over the fields seems nowhere to light. The widened air hides hills and woods, the river and the heavens, and veils the farmhouse at Garden's End. The sled and travelers stopped, the courier's feet delayed, all friends shut out. Housemates sit around the radiant fireplace, enclosed in a tumultuous privacy of storm. Come see the Northland's masonry, out of an unseen quarry evermore. Furnished with tile, the fierce artificer curves his white bastions with projected roof. Oh, round every windward stake to your door, speeding the myriad-handed his wild work. So fanciful, so savage, not caring for numbers or proportion. Marking the on Cooper kennel, he hangs paring leaves. A swan-like form invests a hidden thorn and fills up the farmer's lane from wall to wall. Margaret the farmer sighs, and at the gate, a tapering turret overtops the work. And when his hours are numbered, and the world is all his own, retiring as if he were not, leaves when the sun appears, astonished art. To mimic slow structure, stone by stone, built in an age, the mad wind's night work, the fog architecture of the snow. Thank you.
Up next is Mallory Philibert.
I will be reciting The Spider and the Fly by Mary Howitt. Will you step into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. 'Tis the prettiest little parlor that you ever did spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many pretty things to show when you are there. Oh, no, no, said the little fly. To ask me is in vain, for who go up your winding stair can ne'er come down again. I'm sure you must be weary, dear, from soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed, said the spider to the fly. There are pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin, and if you'd like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in. Oh, no, no, said the little fly, for I've often heard it said, they never, never wake again who sleep upon your bed. Dear friend, what can I... No, said the cunning spider to the fly. Dear friend, what can I do to show the warm affection that I've always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you're very welcome if you please to take a slice. Oh, no, no, said the little fly. Kind sir, that cannot be, for I've heard what's in your pantry and I do not wish to see. Sweet creature, said the spider, you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I have a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf. If you'll step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself. I thank you, gentle sir, she said, for what you're pleased to say, and bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day. The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon be back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he went out to his door again, and merrily did sing, Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with the pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead. Alas, alas, how very soon the silly little fly, hearing his wily, flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then near and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes, her green and purple hue, thinking only of her crested head, poor foolish thing. At last, up jumped the cunning spider, and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into his dismal den, within his little parlor, but she ne'er came out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words I pray you never give heed. Unto an evil counselor, close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly.
So, Morgan, why was Pablo Neruda always hounded by creditors?
I don't know. Why?
Because he owed so much. Yeah. All right, up next is Esther Lyon del Sordo.
Monet refuses the operation by Liesl Mueller. Doctor, what? Doctor, you say there are no halos around the streetlights in Paris, and what I see is an aberration caused by old age and affliction. I tell you, it has taken me all my life to arrive at the vision of gas lamps as angels, to soften and blur and finally banish the edges you regret I don't see, to learn that the line I call the horizon does not exist, and sky and water so long apart are the same state of being. 54 years before I could see, Rouen Cathedral is built of parallel shafts of sun. And now you want to restore my youthful errors? Fixed notions of top and bottom, the illusion of three-dimensional space. Wisteria, separate from the bridge it covers. What can I say to convince you? The Houses of Parliament dissolve night after night to become the fluid dream of the Thames. I will not return to a universe of objects that don't know each other, as if islands were not the lost children of one great continent. The world is flux, and light becomes what it touches, becomes water, lilies on water, becomes lilac and mauve and yellow and white and cerulean lamps. Small fists passing sunlight so quickly to one another that it would take long streaming hair inside my brush to catch it, to paint the speed of light. Our weighted shapes, these verticals, burn to mix with air and change our bones, skin, clothes to gases. Doctor, if only you could see how heaven pulls earth into its arms and how infinitely the heart expands to claim this world, blue vapor without end.
tonight, Bridget Ball.
Broken Promises by David Kirby. I've met them in dark alleys, limping and one-armed. I have seen them playing cards under a single light bulb and try to join in, but they refuse me rudely, knowing I would only let them win. I have seen them in foyers of theaters, coming back late from the interval, long after the others have taken their seats, and in deserted shopping malls late at night, peering at things they can never buy. And I have found them wandering in a wood where I too have wandered. This morning I caught one, small and stupid, too slow to get away. It was only a promise I had made myself once, but then forgot. But it kicked and screamed at me and ran to join the others who looked at me with reproach in their long, sad faces. And when I drew near them, they scurried away, even though they will sleep in my yard tonight. I, who have kept countless promises, as dead now as Shakespeare's children, I hate them for their ingratitude. You bastards, I scream. You have to love me. I gave you life.
What do you get when you combine Robert Frost and James Bond?
I don't know, Morgan. What do you get?
Well, you get the road not shaken, but stirred.
So up next we have Bree Guy.
Fairy Tale Logic by A.E. Stallings. Fairy tales are full of impossible tasks. Gather the chin hairs of a man-eating goat. Cross the sulfuric lake in a leaky boat. Select the prince from a row of identical masks. Tiptoe up to a dragon where it basks and snatch its bone. Count dust specks mote by mote, or learn the phone directory by rote. Always it's impossible what someone asks. You have to fight magic with magic. You have to believe that you have the impossible. You have to believe that you have something impossible up your sleeve. Maybe the language of snakes, perhaps, an invisible cloak. An army of ants at your beck, or a lethal joke. The will to do whatever must be done. Marry a monster. Hand over your firstborn son.
And next up we have Lee Adler.
Hi, I'm Lee Adler. I'll be reciting Caged Bird by Maya Angelou. The free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends. He dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down its narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, the trade wind soft through the sighing trees, the fat worms laying on a dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But the caged bird stands on a grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped, and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. Thank you.
Azad Irwin.
A Boat Beneath a Sunny Sky by Lewis Carroll. A boat beneath a sunny sky, lingering onward dreamily in an evening of July. Children three that nestle near, eager eye and willing ear, please the simple tale to hear. Long has paled that sunny sky, echoes fade and memories die. Autumn frosts have slain July. Still she haunts me phantom-wise, Alice moving under skies, never seen by waking eyes. Children yet the tale to hear, eager eye and willing ear, lovingly shall nestle near. In a wonderland they lay, dreaming as the days go by, dreaming as the summers die. Ever drifting down the stream, lingering in the golden gleam. Life, what is it but a dream? Thank you.
Hannah Mikesell.
My poem is The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
Now we have Nora Gibbons.
Conversation by I. We smile at each other, and I lean back on the wicker couch. How does it feel to be dead, I say. You touch my knees with your blue fingers, and when you open your mouth, a ball of yellow light falls to the floor and burns a hole through it. Don't tell me, I say. I don't want to hear. Did you ever, you start, wear a certain kind of silk dress, and just by accident, so inconsequential you barely notice it, your fingers graze that dress, and you hear the sound of a knife cutting paper. You see it too, and you realize how that image is simply an extension of another image, that your whole life is a chain of words that one day will snap. Words, you say. Young girls in a circle holding hands and beginning to rise heavenwards in their confirmation dresses, like white helium balloons, the wreaths of flowers on their heads spinning. And above all that, that's where I'm floating. And that's what it's like. Only 10 times clearer, 10 times more horrible. Could anyone alive survive it?
One last joke for the evening, I think is time for that. Okay. What's big and gray and writes poetry?
Oh, I don't know, Morgan. What's big and gray and writes poetry?
T.S. Elephant.
So last but not least, we have Chase Koenig.
La Vigilia che piange by T.S. Eliot. O quam te memorem virgo. Stand on the highest pavement of the stair. Lean on a garden urn. Weave, weave the sunlight in your hair. Clasp the flowers to you with a pained surprise. Fling them to the ground and turn with a fugitive's resentment in your eyes. But weave, weave the sunlight in your hair. So I told him he could leave. So I would have had her stand and grieve. And so he would have left. as the soul leaves the body, torn and bruised, as the mind leaves the body it has used. I should find some way incomparably light and deft, some way we both should understand. Simple and faithless as a smile or a shake of the hand. She turned away, but with the autumn weather compelled my memory many a day and many an hour. Her hair over her arms filled with flowers. I wonder how they should have been together. I should have lost many gestures and pose. Sometimes these cognations still surprise. The sorrow for midnight and the noon's repose. Thank you.
That's the first time we've ever had a brass band play with poetry, and I think it works out. I don't know. So I think they're available. You know, just talk to Abby, the trombone player. Okay. Let's see. I think I'll announce the original and favorite poets first, and then the Poetry Out Loud winners. But what I'd really like is for everyone that recited a poem tonight to come up on the stage and be together one time for the photo. Two, we have the yearbook photographer here. And then when I call your name, then I'll have you guys step forward and I'll give you your award. Okay, so would all the contestants come up, please? We owe a lot to poets and to the bravery of these young folks, but also to the moms and dads and grandmas and siblings that are out there. And I'm really happy that you came tonight, thanks. And also to the teachers at Hellgate who encourage poetry. So what I'd like to do is, what we usually do is the one who is on top for the original poetry, it becomes our high school's poet laureate. And from time to time, we call upon that person to do poetry missions, which are various and sundry. I'm glad I wasn't doing a poem today. Various and sundry but interesting assignments. So in third place there is Azrad Irwin. Second place, Spencer Chafee Haley. And our poet laureate for next year, Ingrid Beal Luco. Okay, for the Poetry Out Loud winners, we have 4. The top 3 will go to the regional meet that's on February 9th, which is a Monday in a week or so, with 2 poems, and they'll be right here, 6:30 in the auditorium, so I hope you come back and hear them. They'll be competing in the Western Regional competition against probably 5 or 6 other schools in Western Montana. The alternate for that competition is Azrad Irwin. More paperwork. Yeah, bio and photo, you guys. Third place is Lee Adler. Second place, Nora Gibbons. And the winner this year for Poetry Out Loud and representing us at the regionals is Esther Lyon Del Sordo. And we'll just hear a few words here from our beautiful MCs. Let's give them a hand because they're... And I actually have a little present for them, and it's out of money that past students have won for going to the state competition. We have a poetry fund at Hellgate, and there we go. And with it, we can support poetry at Hellgate by buying poetry for students in the library and for putting on this little show tonight. So there you go. All right. Look at the stunning prize of coffee cards. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So thank you so much, Ms. Gant. Yeah, we drink a lot of coffee. So we just like to say thank you all tonight for coming out. We really couldn't do it, like Ms. Gant said, without the moms and grandmas and siblings. Also, to the contestants, you are all amazing and so brave and awesome.
Let's give another round of applause to the classroom teachers who took the time out of their day to put this on. Good job, you guys.
Thank you very much to Erica Weldon in the booth and Izzy Milch backstage for your technical support, and to Ms. Gant for putting this whole shebang on. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night.